This is a replay of Let's Talk Nigeria on Sparkling 92.3 FM Calabar, making Nigeria better, one conversation at a time.
We talk everything. Health, education, finance, sports, transportation, agriculture, politics,
entertainment,
people and power on Let's Talk Nigeria. Let's Talk Nigeria. Every day of the week from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Only on Sparkling 92.3 FM Calabar. Your radio, your shine.
Yes, good morning, Nigerians. Good morning, Crossoverians. Welcome to a musical Wednesday edition of Let's Talk Nigeria, broadcasting live on Sparkling 92.3 FM, your radio, your shine. It is a beautiful day to be alive. Where are you in the city and what are you up to, whatever it is? Ensure that you're legit with it, yes? And it's nation building. Anyways, today we want to celebrate, to take our time to look at those who have dedicated their lives for the growth of our nation. They stood through all adversities in ensuring that their voices were properly heard at the point that they were airing certain issues. And unfortunately, some of them are gradually beginning to transition to the other world. And just yesterday, we heard about the passing of Sir Edwin Clark as a leader in the Pandef, and one will wonder, with such a voice now absent in the Niger Delta region, who will be stepping up? Have we seen other individuals step up to do almost similar to what this gentleman did while he was with us? And having joined us this morning to make sense of all of this discussion is the President Yoruba Council Worldwide, Are Hassan Oladotun. Good morning to you, Are.
Yes, good morning. It's a pleasure to be on your program.
Thank you
very much. Good morning. It's a pleasure. Listeners at home.
All right, sir. How are you doing this morning?
Yeah, we thank God.
All right.
Thank God.
Okay, so let us look at some of the national issues that are before us this morning. And it's no more news. It made rounds yesterday that the country lost a big patriot, yes, one that was vocal, one that stood for what he knew and he never reneged on it. And we're talking about Sir Edwin Clark. But before that, we also saw the passing of Pa Adebanjo, and one will wonder, sir, can we say we're beginning to see the end of an era?
Well, Nigeria have lost great heroes, and we commiserate with the families of Chief Edwin Clark and Pa Adebanjo, because both men fought good fight of faith for the country, for their regions, and they believe in the principle of natural justice. And these are called patriots as far as the country is concerned. So may God continue to grant their departed soul eternal rest.
Amen.
And grant the Nigeria the fortitude to bear the loss. In view of that, life is generational, and every generation has its own plans and goals and visions, and people must definitely fulfill their own path in dealing with life. And the era of Adebanjo is not the end of an era for the country. Life is continuous. People like us too are new era of generation of opinion molders. We have ourselves too that are equally of this generation that has one or two things to contribute nationally, independently, or regionally. So we just believe that the baton is just being passed on us, just as the baton was passed on by Edwin Clark and by Adebanjo by the light of Awolowo before their departure. So everybody has one or two things to contribute. And this is just a lesson and a clarion call to those at the helms of our peers and leaders, that no matter what your position is today, you still come back to retirement. Even if you are the president, you are the senator, you can never senate for life. It will just be part of your record. Just as when you read the resume of Frederick Clark, was a senator, it was this, it was that. Those were their own life pursuits. And they did it diligently. They pursued it. They might not be perfect in all their ways. They might not be perfect. They might have their own shortcomings. But as controversial they may be, they have contributed positively towards national development. And it's a lesson to every one of us to key into the spirit of patriotism. Service to one's nation is not a waste of time. It's not a journey in futility. There must be something you are contributing towards the development of your land. And every one of us must have a part to play towards our national development, because this is our only country and we don't have any other that to jointly see how best we can better Nigeria.
All right, sir. Are, I would want to ask, since you have a little bit of a knowledge of these individuals, what major contribution did this? Yes, can you hear us, sir?
Yes, I do. I can hear you.
Okay, so I was just asking, since you know about them, what major contribution did these national figures make to Nigeria's political, social, and economic landscape?
Well, frontline during the course of independence, they were there as forerunners. During the course of military era, they were vanguard voices that stood their ground. Even in the recent time, they also the handshake across the Niger in resolving both the southeast, southwest, age-long hegemony and crisis, previewing the civil war. This was what started what was called the Pan Niger Delta movement, the all other movement that we were able to come up with. Adebanjo and Edwin Clark are two Siamese twins that believe in their core values. And if you see most times, they jointly address press conference and they are mostly on the same page, but sometimes they might differ, but on most national issues, especially on the demand for restructuring of the country and the need for new people's constitution, have always been their bedrock of agitation. So these were things that people like us to hang our fight on, that the need for a new people's constitution, because we cannot be running a garage system like law, whereby we are not so sure of the kind of laws that we are running on. Why do we have to risk our lives as a nation of over 200 million, and yet we cannot provide ourselves a due diligent people's constitution? We are still afraid operating a military decreed constitution of Abdul Salami, quoting all of us as we the people on our behalf, whereby we never had such conversations. All these are part of the demand that new people's constitution must be on the table, decentralization of the federal government to ensure regional development, regional governance, and to ensure state policing. These are part of what we understand in the old. So we still believe that governance and democracy is a continuum process. Okay. And there is a need for constant review and our flexibility in trying to amend ourselves until when we fit in to what best can be operational and generally acceptable to everyone. So to many, we just believe running this country is just like an experimentation. No, we have been at the forefront of so many national and international landmarks. But as far as the home front is concerned, we are still crawling. We are crawling to deal with our economy, and our economy is dampening every day because of corruption. Those that are stealing are still stealing to the marrow, and every day in, day out, is as if some persons are just being born to ruin the country. So we still believe that there is a need for collectivism. There is a need for social justice, for all of us to rally around ourselves, continue to say the truth to power, continue to let those at the ends of our fears know that they are not there on their own premise. They are there on the sovereign investment of Nigerian voters. And Nigerian voters should equally be aware of their powers, not just on drumbeat of sentiment, but they need to be electing those that have capacity, not primary six, not secondary school holder, but they need to really know those that they are electing, not those that will come share rights and monies and all that to them during the electionary campaign. But they need to be well defined now, because if the citizens are not maturely orientated, they will continue to elect this type of system that will be descending into failure.
Are, you mentioned that this gentleman, the one that just passed, they received the baton from their predecessors, and you made mention of Awolowo and the likes. And the question I would want to ask then is, what lessons can young politicians and leaders of now learn from their service to Nigeria?
Well, it's quite unfortunate that we have moved away from developmental democracy to transactional democracy. Transactional means that everybody is only aiming for what they can gain and not what they can impute to develop the lives of the people. And that's why you hardly see issues of national importance being taken to the fore of daily discussion at our National Assembly and State Assembly. A lot of the commitments of our governors these days are just so pessimistic and not optimistic to define good life for our people. The kind of ways we see people that are appointed at the federal level, they see themselves as power to an end. So there is a whole lot of reorientation that needs to be done. Our mindset is so darkened to the extent that we hardly see humanity in our process of service to governance. A lot of people that are given opportunity to serve their region or are having opportunity for an appointment, all they do is to go to Thanksgiving and see that as their own pot of soup. That is just the defining debacle we are faced with. We lack those that have patriotic spirit now. And there is a need that patriotic spirit must not die. Because if this continually, this kind of grandiose of we can do it and no one can tell us to say no, one day anarchy will have an inevitable factor of revolution, whereby law and order will no longer hold its ground. It will now be a show of force. People will begin to lose their thinking fast. And it is not that the government is as bad as that. At least you can give the current administration of Adebanjo some plus of ensuring that let us for once have an autonomous local government free from the governor's apron and the hegemony. You can see what is happening in Osun. You can see what is happening all around the state. The governors are yet to grow out of their consciousness that local governments are not part of their election campaign material. It's not part of their structure of sharing political appointments. It's a different structure of governance. Just like they are state governors that they have their independence and people can move with them, that's the same way local government ought to be developed. Okay. So because of lack of independence at that level, it has now become order of the day. Look at what is happening in Osun. Why would Oyetola be leaving office and on the eve of leaving, he went and conducted a charade election?
It's a whole lot out there. We'll try to reconnect with you. It's a whole lot out there, particularly with what we saw in Osun State, and we're going to go there, but then we just wanted to stay in the purview of this one first. And part of the question I wanted to ask straight off is, looking at their lives and the contributions that they have given to Nigeria, I would want to know if their contribution has been included or should be included in history books or archives for future generations, where we can always look back and say, okay, this has been the contribution of this individual for Nigeria and for national unity and growth. Yeah, but then we'll look forward to answering that. Are you still with us, sir? Okay, so we will do all we can to reconnect with Are. I guess it's just a little bit of a network issue. We know how network has been for quite some time now, and we're just looking at the demise. We're looking and okay. So that's side. We're trying to reconnect with Are, and his number right now is not connecting network, like I said. But we're looking at the demise of Sir Edwin Clark and also Pa Ayo Adebanjo. We're looking at their lives, what they stood for, and the impact that they had while they were alive. We knew that these individuals were dogged and they stood for national unity. They spoke whenever it was that they saw issues that were not in the interest of national unity. And governors, ex-presidents, and meaningful Nigerians are beginning to send in their condolences to the family of Sir Edwin Clark. Let us reconnect with Are, and we further hear from him, because although he deviated a little bit to talk about Osun State, it was part of what we needed to talk about, something we needed to see, because it's democracy in this era. And we want to ask, is there anything particular that those in the helms of affairs right now are learning from those who used to occupy such a position before, and have they learned a lesson? People, when we return, we'll get to talk more. Just stick around. We'll be right back.
We sparkle on your radio. Sparkling 92.3 FM Calabar. Wake up. Good morning, Calabar.
Wake up feeling fresh. Wake up ready to conquer the day. Wake up knowing there's a morning show put together to give you all you need to start your day.
No doubt.
The Sparkling Morning Show.
It's the Sparkling Morning Show.
The Sparkling Morning Show is up early to keep you in touch with what is happening right now, right here and all around the globe. It's the morning radio show just for you, only on Sparkling 92.3 FM. The Sparkling Morning Show. We got the latest in sports from around the world and in our own backyard, plus business news, breaking news stories, fresh as they drop. Join us every morning weekdays from 5 a.m. to 10 a.m. for the news you need to know and more. Only on Sparkling 92.3 FM. Sparkling Morning Show. Just for you.
Let's go.
All right, welcome back. It is still Let's Talk Nigeria, broadcasting live on Sparkling 92.3 FM, and we had a little bit of a challenge with the network, but that is all sorted out now, and we're back in connection with Are Hassan Oladotun. Thank you very much for joining back, Are.
Yeah, it's a pleasure.
All right, so before the network interrupted, you were talking about what is presently happening in Osun State, where we have a tussle between the Adelekes and also the Adebanjo'S. And where I would want to look at that from is, when it comes to representation and doing what is right, what can any of these individuals learn from the era of the Pa Ayo Adebanjo and the Sir Edwin Clark, looking at what they stood for?
Well, it's all about selfless leadership. And gone are those days when people will come campaign that we want to be like Jesus Christ, we are like Awolowo, we'll give you this, we'll give it. They no longer campaign on the strength of what they want to deliver to the people, except those that are used to the ready-made campaign slogan of we are giving you boreholes, more roads, street lights. Those are not governance. Those are part of their duty. It's not something to campaign that's what you do, because that's a part of your duty. And you don't expect to be given a clap for what you are being appointed or elected to do. But because there is lack of patriotism spirit is what we are lacking in this part of the country now, which there is a need for an urgent value orientation. There is a need for more collectivism and laws that will be so strict to bind the hands of those at the ends of affairs to deliver. Because people just see that it seems the law is not operational only for those that fall below the belt, that the law will only hang on. If the corruption, if the EFCC is supposed to be working every day, the doorstep of EFCC ought to be loaded with corrupt officials, from past presidents to governors to senators to local government and councillors, even private individuals that are even part and parcel of this corrupt lineage. So, but because the system is so selective, that it is so transactional, that people begin to negotiate what is good for these people and what is bad for these people. If the people are put first, if Nigeria is placed first as part of their patriotic spirit that we believe in this country, let's give what this country deserves, not what we deserve for our own self. These people are corruptly enriching themselves at the expense of all of us. Look at our oil and gas. Look at what God has blessed us with. At the end of the day, we are still in penury. We are listening to sermons, to lamentations and sermons every day from the presidency.
Hello. Okay. Network just again. This is what we will do then. We'll go on a very short commercial break, people, and when we return, we'll hope by then that the network will give us clearance so that we can talk without any of these interruptions. Yeah, people will be right back at it. Still, Let's Talk Nigeria, broadcasting live on Sparkling 92.3 FM. We'll be BACK just in a bit. We'll be right back.
Stay connected every day. We sparkle on your radio. Sparkling 92.3 FM Calabar.
We talk everything. Health, education, finance, sports, transportation, agriculture, politics,
entertainment,
people and power. On Let's Talk Nigeria. Let's Talk Nigeria. Every day of the week from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Only on Sparkling 92.3 FM Calabar. Your radio, your shine.
Growing up, listening to the radio with my mom was one of my favorite things to do, and I wanted to be one of the voices I heard. Sparkling 92.3 FM gave me an opportunity through their internship program to be the voice that I dreamed of. My name is Coco, and you can be like me. Pick up your forms now at Sparkling Towers, Water Intake Road, Ikorefanga, Calabar. Remember, knowledge is good, but skill is better. This is a replay of Let's Talk Nigeria on Sparkling 92.3 FM Calabar, making Nigeria better, one conversation at a time.
We talk everything. Health, education, finance, sports, transportation, agriculture, politics,
entertainment,
people and power. On Let's Talk Nigeria. Let's Talk Nigeria. Every day of the week from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Only on Sparkling 92.3 FM Calabar. Your radio, your shine.
Okay, welcome back. It's still Let's Talk Nigeria, broadcasting live on Sparkling 92.3 FM, your radio, your shine. And before we went on that break, we were in a conversation with Are Hassan Oladoto, the President Yoruba Council Worldwide, and we were just x-raying the demise of patriots in Nigeria. Most recently, we heard about the demise of Sir Edwin Clark just here in the South, yeah, and also we heard about Pa Adebanjo in the Southwest. And one will wonder, we're just asking what was it that these individuals stood for, what was it that they stood for while they were alive. So just to reel down a little bit of what Sir Edwin Clark stood for, he was born in 1927 till 2025. He was a political leader. Clark served as the Federal Commissioner of Information in 1975, playing a pivotal role in shaping Nigeria's information dissemination and through a critical period. That was when he did that. And away from that, he also stood for educational advocacy as the Midwestern Commissioner for Education. He was instrumental in the establishment of the Midwest College of Technology, which led to the foundation for the University of Benin. Yeah. And the Ijaw Nation leadership, which he's really engaged in, Clark emerged as a prominent leader of the Ijaw ethnic group, advocating for their rights and leading delegations to engage with political leaders on issues affecting the Niger Delta. And before his passing, he was active in Pandef, and that was known. And then away from there, let us also check, he was known for philanthropy. Yeah, he funded and founded the Edwin Clark Foundation and established a university in his hometown, contributing significantly to education and community development. And one will say this is a giant stride by the gentleman. And now we're rejoined by Are Hassan Oladotunn. Let us just find, like I said, network has been so much of a flow this morning, and we'll find a way of beating it and ensuring that we continue with our conversation with Are Hassan Oladotunn. And taking a look at Pa Ayo Adebanjo, he was born in 1928 till 2025. He advocated for democracy during his time. He was a steadfast proponent of democratic principles. Adebanjo was deeply involved in Nigeria's struggle for independence and remained active in politics, advocating for justice and governance. Thank you very much for returning with us here, Are. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, so I was just x-raying their feats, Pa Ayo Adebanjo and also Sir Edwin Clark, and we saw that they were involved in different feats, stratas they covered: political leadership, educational advocacy, regional leadership, philanthropy, and also we're talking about Pa Ayo Adebanjo, his advocacy for democracy, the Afenifere leadership. And now let's go to the Afenifere leadership. We know how involved that Pa Ayo Adebanjo was, and looking at what is happening in Osun State and Lagos State, though two different stories. One will ask, where did we go wrong with it?
Well, it's quite unfortunate that in the 21st century we are still backwards, as if we are in the ancient times, pre-colonial era, and this devilish tendency is growing by the day, and there is no character change at all. What is happening in Osun State, especially the killing, is self-inflicted, is self-caused. It is not an external aggression. Remember, these are people of indigenous community of the same state, only divided by party coloration of flag. That is as wicked as some of our political personages are. Too power drunk, too power thirsty, as if everything must end in death. And these characters, if care is not taken, I will begin to look at this thing as part of the system. By the time it gets to the generation of our own children, there will just be a gangster. Politics will be full-blown gangsterism. Full-blown gangsterism. And it will not benefit any one of us. Look at what is happening in some other African countries that are into wars these days. These are the kind of character systems that are embedded in us. It only takes different faces and different approach. But in the line of us getting it right, and that's where I've always been calling on stakeholders not to allow these politicians to lead us into dungeons or abyss by their own carelessness. Stakeholders from the royal fathers, the stakeholders from socio-cultural organizations, from Afenifere, Yoruba Council Worldwide, all other structures, Yoruba Assembly, Yoruba Unity Forum, there is a need for rallying around in channeling our energy towards collective consultation and conversation on this issue, because we cannot continue to keep silent and hope that things will be better while we don't have attitudinal change. What is happening in Osun State, the principal suspect in all this is both parties. Both parties in the sense that even in execution of court orders, it must be done with decorum.
Okay.
In execution of court orders, it must be done with decorum. But the fact that the governor is the governor of the state and wants his own party to also have a share of the local government like this, is the soul of the state they are fighting for, not even the people. Go and check out those local government they are fighting for within those secretariats. No third road, no good water, nothing to write home about within those localities. All they go to local governments to share money monthly and do some cosmetic program. Look at the consequential effect. Over 10 lives now are lost on the premise of two people's mistakes, Oyetola and Adeleke. Can they have a model of reasoning when it comes to execution of court orders? Must people's lives be played to risk with the garage style of politics? So I want to call that there is a need for a regional conversation to address all these inimical issues. Yes, the Governors Forum of Southwest recently met and they analyzed and started a whole lot of issues. But I was now wondering, did they actually talk to themselves about their own self-inflicted characters? The kind of things that we see them perpetrate from Ondo to Lagos to everywhere, none of them is sustained that we can be so assured that, yes, they are delivering to the people's expectations every day. Yes, some are more advantageous, like Lagos has resources. Other states will have their resources, but to what extent are the people benefiting? The people pay for road, people pay for land use charges, people pay for everything you are doing. Or you can't get free fireborne water that the government is giving. No, the road network sometimes are being done privately by individuals in their various estates. So these are not part of what we should be talking about in 21st century. But because we are still backward in our thinking, we are we overrate ourselves as if we know it all. Yet we are just crawling. It is quite unfortunate that we have to admit our status that way. It's not that I'm pessimistic as a Nigerian, but what we are telling ourselves is the truth. Let's go back to the drawing board. Let's begin to review what actually is the definition of democracy. Or is it we that we are misinterpreting or redefining democracy as power corrupt and absolutism power or totalitarian method of democracy? Is democracy in other climes different from what we are practicing here? Or do we just put our own local thinking that whatever the king does in this part of the world, the king does no wrong? So a lot of issues are there. And these issues are not of today. They are issues of age-long issues that range from our ethnic rivalry, from our communal clashes, from our ethno-religious crisis. These are issues that are attitudinal, not of any government. These are attitudinal that have now ranged from one generation to another. And until we begin to talk true to ourselves, until our pastors begin to change their sermon on the pulpit to more of national interest and not of prosperity, until our imams, they begin to change the orientation of their followers on good governance, on how they can challenge government. It is not every day you go to church, you must talk about prosperity. Talk about your community. But use those platforms to review opinions. Everything is not all about holy. Yet, with all our holiness and most churches that we have, we are the most corrupt country in the world. We are rated high. Then where lies our holiness? If we do not learn how to teach ourselves, orientate ourselves rightly, because from all those platforms, people can be galvanized for national development. Because that is where the governors will go, Look at the way a pastor was talking to Donald Trump in U.S., telling him the truth because he had opportunity to address him face to face, and letting him know that those things you are doing might be right in your own perspective, but for the future of America, it's going to dampen their progress, because those people you are sending out of the country, they are the legs and hearts that are holding their factory, holding their street, holding and cleaning their houses. Everybody has a duty and a role to play in development. If you say these people are not good and you are removing them for the sake of you don't just want a blanket order, it will come back to affect you. Somebody somewhere was able to pass a message, not at the National Assembly, but on the pulpit. But can our own pastor say such a thing? When they see a governor, the only thing they will say, oh, come and launch our building project. We need this, we need that, we need this. Is that the only thing we can share? Our imams, they are just sharing messages on social media that are divisive. So these old characters we need to really have a better attitudinal character.
Okay.
When we are addressing ourselves from ethnic perspective, we need to see humanity in ourselves, not Igbo man, trying to look at what happened in the Civil War, looking it and interpreting it to just common conversation with his neighbors. We need to have this orientation, and the media needs to do a lot. The media needs to do a lot in terms of messages, in terms of jingles that people must be listening to every day. At least Dora Aquili, as one as he was a minister, she was able to drive a change ideology towards a lot of Nigerians. But all of a sudden, after her departure, everything died with her. Is that the country we want to be living on? So we still have a long way to go. Let's not be too overzealous that we have gotten to that Eldorado. Not yet. But we need to begin to review things, review our laws, review our orientation, and let us do the right thing.
All righty. Thank you very much, Ared, there. Crossoverians, you can be a part of this. Would want to hear from you. 080-923-00022 or 0812-723-7060. Any of these numbers will give you direct access to us, and let's get to talk. If you're finding it difficult reaching out to us via phone calls, you can as well take to social media. Drop us a message on WhatsApp on 080923-00022. Yes, let us get to hear from you. And we're looking at the contribution of this gentleman. Although they have passed on to glory, we're looking at their legacies, and we just had to bring that in a bid for us to bring to the fore what is happening in Osun State. Is there a need for us to be pointing accusing fingers? If that wouldn't work, okay, then what should we be doing? And just like Are has said, it is now time for us to be intentional in the sense that everyone would have to do what is expected of them, what is necessary of them to do, all for national interest. We know that people have their party affiliations, people have their party tilts, but at the end of the day, if you have a party affiliation that is not for national interest, one will then wonder at the end of it all, where will you govern? Who are the people for you to govern? So one way or the other, we'll have to find a way of bringing the people together, harnessing all of our energies and our resources together in ensuring that we'll build this, our Nigeria. And just like we said it, our lines are open for you to call 080-923-00022 or 0812-723-7060. We're talking about the passing of Sir Edwin Clark and also that of Pa Ayo Adebanjo. We're looking at what is it that they stood for? What is it we can learn from them? What can we pick? They've handed the baton over to us now, so what can we do with that? Yes, it is big question that is before us, but let's get to answer that. 080-923-00022 or 0812-723-7060. We have a caller here in the house. Hello, good morning, Jenny.
Good morning, my name is Jenny.
Yes, Jenny, nice to have you.
Yes, good morning, sir.
Good
Please,
morning.
I want to talk about Edwin Clark.
Go ahead, please.
For me, as a person, my opinion, I have nothing to learn from him. He's among people that sold the Niger Delta out.
What is your proof on this, madam? Let us hear your angle with this. What is your proof on that?
Yes, they sold Niger Delta out. Look at the Niger Delta that produces oil. There's nothing to write home about. No development, no good roads, nothing. These are people who collected money and sold Niger Delta out. So whether it's death or alive has nothing to do with it.
Well, Jenny, talking about they sold Niger Delta, there is no proof to that claim that you're laying. If you have any on social media, you can copy us and let us hear from you. But then let us hear from Lady Mercy. Hello, good morning. Good morning, madam.
How are you?
I'm very fine, madam.
The man at the studio, God will bless him. He has spoken my mind. In fact, God will continue to bless him. Any day he speaks, I used to enjoy his speeches.
Okay.
For the souls of Sir Edward and the rest of them, may God bless them. May their soul rest in perfect peace. To talk about our politicians today don't have us at heart. They don't have our interests. They don't have the interest people like Awolowo and Zik had, because they left legacies and the things we are now enjoying. Our politicians now are just for themselves, and that is why we are suffering. Even the Sodom and Gomorrah is not suffering what Nigerians are suffering today in the midst of plenty. Meanwhile, we are blessed with everything. So, well, we don't know when that Moses will come, and they don't give the young ones like Are them opportunity, like P2B and the rest of them, who came out to save the masses. They took the power by force. May God continue to save us. One day we shall have a Moses born in this country. Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you very much.
His family is blessed.
All right, thank you very much, madam. 080-923-00022 or 0812-723-7060. We will want to hear from you. What are your contributions to this national matter that we are discussing? Is there a thing or two that you can pick from these national individuals and what they stood for? Let us take this other caller. Hello, good morning. Good morning to you, sir. Please turn down the volume on your radio set or move away. Hello? Okay. The world to call is back 080-923-00022 or 0812-723-7060. Both of those numbers will give you access to us. Hello, good morning. Good morning to you. Your name again?
Again from Akaifa.
All right, so go ahead, Aking.
Yes, you talked of how the lifestyle of the man that died and how we, the present Nigerians, can into it and make a better Nigeria. So I'm here to quote the word of Amin Ukano. He says that the system does not have to be pure, but it does have to work. And that is what is happening in Nigeria. Nigeria is the kind of place whereby the system is not pure, but it's working. So for us to now work like that man that died, I don't know whether I would be able to do it. So
Okay.
That is just it. Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you very much for your points there. 0812-723-7060 or 080-923-00022. Let us hear your pitch on the national issue we're talking about. What can we learn from Sir Edwin Clark? What can we learn from Pa Ayo Adebanjo? It's not like they don't have their flaws. They have their flaws. As humans, we all have our flaws. But then what can we learn? What are the positives from them? Hello, good morning.
Hello. Good morning.
Yes, good morning. I'm very fine. Your name and where you calling us from?
Okay, my name is Samuel Okon. I'm calling you from State House in Calabar.
All right, so go ahead, Mr. Samuel.
Okay, yes, I've heard what you're saying. I think it's very, very interesting for all of us to hear. Those two gentlemen were great men of this country. They must have had their own faults and the way they didn't do well. But there are some few things you can pick from them. Like I love Adebanjo'S so much because of the role he played to make sure we have a better country for a better Nigeria, for all Nigeria. I saw the role he played in the last general election. I've seen the role he has been playing on making sure that Nigeria is better. Making sure that Nigeria is being restructured to favor every Nigerian. Just like Ray has said, mentioning that they're trying to do this and do that. Yes, the Igbo man will always agitate for Biafra because Nigeria has not been fair to them, which he knows. You know, if our brothers in the Southwest can understand how Nigeria is being run, they will understand. We had a good government led by John Goodluck Jonathan, which was a very good government that built one of the strongest economy in this country. But the Southwest aligned with the North to push him out. And since that has destroyed Nigeria and destroyed our economy. And since then, Nigeria has not gotten its foot back. So let us begin to understand and have a sense of nation building to strengthen our democracy, strengthen Nigeria, and make Nigeria to be a better place for all of us. When we begin to understand that, that will be better. You go to Southeast today, everywhere is checkpoints. But you go to Southwest, you don't see all that checkpoint. You go to the North, you don't see them. So while Igbo man will always complain because it's being marginalized to every corner. So let us begin to understand that Nigeria can be better, that we can join hands together and build Nigeria, and understand that everybody should have a sense of belonging in everywhere they find themselves in this country.
All right, sir. Thank you very much for your contribution, and we really do appreciate it that you're finding positives, yeah? 08093000022 or 0812-723-7060, yeah? One can argue that these individuals have done this, they've contributed as much as they thought they could in the capacity that they were in. Those of us living that Nigeria is still in our hands, one will ask, what are we doing with Nigeria, or what can we do with Nigeria to make Nigeria better? Let's take this other caller. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning to you, sir.
My name is Cyril Bisson. I'm calling from Lebanon, Phase 2.
All right, so go ahead.
I want to talk about the late Edwin Clark. I see him as a freedom fighter. And when we talk of freedom fighters, it is not those who fight with guns, but those who fight with their reasoning. Those who are there when they are needed, not those who count themselves in time where they are supposed to stand and speak for the masses.
Okay.
So that. And I want to say to the Beru family, take heart.
All right, sir. Thank you very much, sir, for the contribution that you have made. 08093000022 or 0812-723-7060. We are just in the concluding end of Let's Talk Nigeria, but before we leave, we would still want to hear one or two from you. What did these individuals represent while they were alive? Did you pick up a thing? Well, we've had people say, okay, they sold out Nigeria, they did this, they did that. Well, that's a non-go to it, but then it's all about the positives, yeah? It's not the negative. Negative makes us pessimistic, positives make us optimistic. Let us hear from this other caller. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, sir.
Good morning to you, sir.
Yes, this is Rene calling from Edmouth.
All right, so go ahead, Rene.
Yeah, it is. I think it has been in our African culture that we don't speak ill of the dead ones. But most times, if you want to review what these people have done, like someone just allege, I know it's just an allegation, that they have joined us through Niger Delta out. I think I would like to show that line. Not too long ago, it's alleged that some people connived and sold out Bakassi local government.
Sir, there's no connival to sell out Bakassi local governments. Nobody has done that. The latest we heard was that there was a call for Bakassi to be delisted because the people of Bakassi are alleging that they don't get what is due them. And just like what we read in the news this morning, the governor and the State House of Assembly are doing a whole lot in addressing that. And matter of fact, for the people who have made such a statement and all of that, they've called them for, a level of interfacing with them to hear directly from them. But anyway, still, people, we want to say thank you very much for being a part of us here on the Sparkling Morning Show. And this is where we get to draw the curtain for today's broadcast. We really do appreciate you for being a part of it. Whatever it is that you can pick from those who are leaving, the positive, please ensure. Nigeria is all ours to build. We might be faced with a whole lot of challenges, but it takes a mind determined for change to begin it. Be that change you want to see in the world. Be that man in the mirror. I am Sina Williams Ojeka saying thank you very much for being a part of this, and this is where we draw the curtain for the Musical Wednesday broadcast of Let's Talk Nigeria and also the Sparkling Morning Show. We'll do this again tomorrow, same time. God bless you all.